One thing I want to talk about is this saddle's been sitting in the shop for a little bit, and who knows how much dust was on it before it got here. But some care tips that I can give you to wipe off your saddle, keep them kind of clean. I'm going to go over that, and then I'm going to talk about the real deal cleaning, okay? I've tried this before and it works really good. I've got me a little round sheepskin here. We sell this through Maker's Leather Supply, so you can get those through them. This here is kind of an interesting deal. This is actually for dark felt hat cleaning, but it actually works really well on this rough out leather. So I'm going to show you how this works. It's kind of a foamy substance, and I think what it's doing is it's kind of getting down into the fibers of the leather, and it's helping pull that dirt out. So I'm just going to simply go like this, and then I'm going to rub it out. You can see it's picking up some of that dirt and dust and putting it on the rag. And it's just a simple way to kind of wipe down your saddle and help it look a little bit newer, a little bit less dirty. Simple fix. If you don't have any of this, I've used Pledge. Your typical wood cleaner does the same kind of thing on these rough out saddles. Smooth out saddles, it'll work the same way, but smooth out usually has like a lacquer finish on it, which is like on this cantle binding. I'll show you how it works there, but the dust is sitting on top of the leather for the majority of the smooth out type parts, okay? And it'll just wipe right off and clean right up. The rough out, it kind of wants to take that dirt in, and so we need something to kind of pull that dirt out. And if we do this often, we could probably get by with cleaning and oiling our saddle once a year, and I'm going to talk about that a little later, but I wanted to show you a little bit more how this stuff works really well. And you can get this, you can call Burns and buy this right through Burns Saddlery. We carry it in our stores for our hats, but it works really good for just this leather as well. You can see it's just grabbing that dirt, pulling it out. One thing here that you're never going to get rid of by dusting off, this is matted down. This is either another aluminum stirrup rubbing on that and leaving some aluminum down on there, and or it could just be oils from your chaps or your pants getting off, who knows. But this is very difficult just to brush off. This is going to need an actual cleaning oil, which again, I'll talk about that in a little while, and why it's important to clean and oil your saddle. There are many methods out there of getting your rough out looking new again. Hard bristle brushes, there's certain brushes you can put on like sanding discs and things like that that'll kind of buff up your rough out again. I'm not a huge fan of that, except it does make them look newer. But the reason why I like rough out is because rough out kind of conforms and breaks into your bone structure in your legs. So I don't want to get rid of that. You know, I like to have that smoothness that my body's used to feeling after all that time of breaking the saddle in. So that's just me. There's many ways to do this, but as we get into the clean and oil stuff, we'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay, I've been doing this a long time. 20 plus years I've been in saddle making, and I've rode saddles all my life. So one of the things I'd like to talk about today is the simple fact of making sure that your saddle is really, really clean before you start adding any kind of oils or creams to it. If there's dirt in that saddle, even sometimes you can't see the dirt. If you oil over top of dirt, that oil grabs that dirt and takes it into the leather with the oil and makes it worse. So we like to clean and oil a saddle for real. The real deal that we do here at the shop is a huge job. We tear the parts out, we tear the parts off of the saddle, and we actually use soap and water and a scrub brush. We really scrub them down. And I haven't found a soap yet in the leather industry that I use for this. I'm working on getting some for the leather industry, but right now, man, I just go to the store and I get some Dawn dish soap, and I dump it in a hot bucket of water just like you're doing the dishes, and that's what I use to scrub these saddles down. The Dawn grabs the dirt, it pulls the dirt, it gets all that dirt, and we really, really scrub them out. And I mean, lots of scrubbing. Sometimes some of them take an hour to get through the whole entire saddle, and we really, really scrub it out. The other thing we do, now that the saddle's wet, is as leather dries, sometimes things can start curling up like this, or like this. That's just the nature of leather. When we do it, we have stands that we strap our seats back down, we strap the skirts back down to keep it nice and shaped, okay? And then as that saddle dries for a minimum of 24 hours here in Utah, you know, in higher humidity areas, it might take 4 or 5 days or a fan blowing on it to get it to dry. But if you've got low humidity, 24 hours minimum. And then the next thing we're gonna do is oil it. And what I like to use for oil now, you can get through Maker's Leather Supply, is this Duff's oil. Really good oil. We use it in our shop on a daily basis, gallons of it. So good stuff. You can order that through Maker's Leather Supply and get you some of that. One good coat of oil with a brush is probably good. If it was really, really dry, you'll know it, because what happens is if you'll let it sit for a few hours, maybe a day, you'll start seeing that it's a little uneven in places, which means that leather took more oil in places than not. You might have to oil it one more time just to even everything out. So that's the tip there. Once we're done oiling, we take a saddle soap of some sort, like this Phoebing's that we also sell at Maker's Leather Supply, and I like to soap the leather. What that means is I'm gonna take my another little sheepskin, I'm gonna soak this in water, I'm gonna wring it out, and I'm gonna rub that soap until it's lathered. So you got a big old bunch of white lathered soap, and each piece I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna pick the seat, I'm gonna use one of these lathered up, and I'm gonna get the side of the seat done. And I'm gonna rub and rub and rub and rub and rub and rub until that soap is gone. All my parts, and just really soap it up really, really good. And man, that soap, it's just amazing how luscious and stuff it'll make your saddle look. But that's part of the job we do. Rough out saddles don't get a finished coat unless we use this Duff's cream. This Duff's cream can be rubbed on, and it does help shine it up a little bit. So you can use that for a finished coat on your rough out. If we're doing any kind of smooth out leather, this cream that we also sell at Maker's Leather Supply works really good. It's called RTC Be Natural Sheridan Resistant Finish. This is a good lacquer, kind of show you what it does. Put it on your dauber, do your smooth out parts, and that stuff right there is going to dry like a lacquer. And what it's going to do is keep the sun from penetrating the leather too much, and or it's going to repel the rain and moisture. So that's what I like to use on the smooth out parts. You can see it kind of gives it a little bit of a shine as well. If you're not up to learning how to clean and oil your saddle the best way, don't be afraid. Call your Burns rep, call the store. We can get you an address to ship it to. I've got guys that love clean and oil saddles and they're passionate about it. They're happy to help you out and get your saddles clean and oiled once a year. It's 125 bucks, well worth it. And then professionals are gonna look at it. If it looks like it needs things, we're gonna call you, we're gonna suggest things, and it just helps once a year to maintain your saddle. Another thing I wanna talk about is the way you store your saddles. I see a lot of people like this saddle here on the ground. Thanks for showing that. Yeah, I don't like to store them like this. Okay, that's a bad way to store it. I don't really like storing it like that either. It's a bad way to store it. The fender's pulling out the seat and the seat's starting to get curled up and stuff's happening and gravity's taking over. And I'm a proud saddle maker. We work really hard to get everything nice and shaped and appealing. I can't stand it when I see stuff stored like this. I like to store them on a stand of some sort or in your saddle stand in your trailer. So gravity's taking everything where we intended it to be as a saddle maker. So just things like that is caring for your product, you know, and you won't have to do near as much maintenance if you just take care of your saddle like you would your horse. Horn wraps on your ranch saddles and rubber on your rope saddles for the most part, unless you're a mule hide guy. Mule hide wrap works good for cowboying and things like that. That kind of protects this leather. And then you just replace the mule hide wrap instead of the whole horn. So watch for that kind of stuff. Don't wear down through everything till it's too late and you have to replace the whole swell cover and the horn and everything.